So hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the new Tier 0 deck, Blue Eyes, Primite, Blue Eyes? Prime Eyes? Primite, Blue Eyes. Uh, name? Hmm, um, Primite, Blue Eyes, I guess. Primite Eyes? Okay, so what, that aside, Tier 0 is basically just defined by play rate, and so far, since the release of the selection, well, Primite Blue Eyes has just the most absurd play rate, and that's basically what tiers are just based on. I mean, it might diminish a bit later, but the deck itself is still decent regardless. But also, it does run some garnets, you know. So this is kind of a garnet. It just depends. I mean, this can become live eventually. You know, set this turn 1, turn 2, activate wishes. Turn 3, activate wishes. Boom, combo. Kind of a brick, unless you wait, like, I guess in this case, like 2 turns. So going second, even more insane. Turn 2, set this. Turn 3, set wishes. Turn 4, activate wishes. And then you have combo. Insane. But aside from that, you know, if you don't wait the turns, Drillbeam just a brick, and you might just set it from hand or activate it from hand with Maiden. But the primary new thing, of course, is just the Primate cards. Well, yeah, the Primate cards are specifically just really good in Master Duel format, and so far since they've dropped Primate, I'm happy to say that I've seen 0 stun decks just like plain old stun, you know? We're not seeing any more like normal summon Inspector Border Pass. We're not seeing any more normal summon Fossil Dino. And this will be probably the case for a while, as long as, I guess, Blue Eyes Primate stays popular. So the good news about this deck, I suppose, well, I guess we'll talk about why this deck is good against stun. So if we just do some basic math, don't know why we have this one of Ghost Belt here, but yeah, if we do some basic math, we have 3 copies of Primite Lordly Load, we have 1 copy of Drillbeam, and then we have 3 copies of Ether Burl. So if you open either Ether Burl mostly or Primite Lordly Load, it gets you into this trio of cards here essentially. And what these cards allow you to do is it allows you to out floodgates pretty consistently, and multiple of them over the course of a duel. So the synergy is a little bit, I guess, immaculate, would you say? Maybe. So let's say maybe we open Lordly Load, okay? And let's say my opponent has, I guess, maybe we'll go with just Macro Cosmos, okay? So let's assume my opponent has Macro. I'll do activate Lordly Load, normal summon Ether Burl. Ether Burl will then set Drillbeam. And Drillbeam will just probably be live. It kind of just depends a little bit. But, you know, just if I have, specifically in this case, if I can reveal either a Primate card or a normal monster in hand, so that could be Blue Eyes White Dragon or literally any of the Primate cards. So if I open 2 Primate cards, Macro is now outed. And then on a later turn, we can set Drillbeam, so that will be in 2 turns, I guess, set Drillbeam, and then use it again on the following turn after that. And then we can sequentially keep bumping off like floodgates with this. So a slow floodgate grindy deck, like just actual stun, is not very good against the Primate cards. And of course, the access into these cards, so Lordly Load and Ether Burl, the odds of drawing into one of these guys is about somewhere between 50 to 60%. So just opening a single one of them gets you into this kind of loop, right? So this would just be accounting for basically opening these cards. This doesn't account for drawing into them later as well, because you can move some cards. Like if we do Wishes for Eyes of Blue, that kind of deck thins, and then that increases the odds of drawing into Primate cards if you haven't already, right? And stuff like that. So you can eventually probably end up with a way to out a floodgate semi-consistently. So you're essentially flipping a coin to see if you can like out like just a floodgate, and a lot of the floodgates have been hit, so there's like consistency issues to some extent with that. So just with the Primite stuff in general, this is pretty decent for board breaking against like stun. Aside from that, it's just an okay option against like a lot of board breakers and stuff. So if we have access to Primite Drillbeam, this unironically shuts down. Depends on exactly what your opponent has, I guess, but this will be able to shut down potentially Forbidden Droplet and definitely be able to shut down like a Dark Ruler no more, which is kind of nice. And this is kind of an Omni negate, so we have Omni here, uh, Omni here, Omni here, and then you could run technically Blazar as well. So we're looking at around like 3 Omnis semi-consistently. And of course, it pairs well with the Blue Eyes card, so you can do like normal summon Primite, Dragon, Ether, Burl. Link off into Spirit with Eyes of Blue, then normal summon Sage. Or you could do it in the other order as well. So that's pretty good. And of course, all of these cards just recycle themselves over and over again. So that will help with deck thinning later and also with follow-up plays, just in general. So Primate Drillbeam, yeah, this card pretty strong because it's also removal and it also does the negate. So even if it didn't do the banish effect, it would still be a permanent negate. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? So with all these things combined, you have like fairly consistent deck. So if we just do a random test hand here, this hand, like not the best hand, but it gets the job done, right? So we could normal summon Ether Burl to grab a copy of Primite Lordly Load, and then we can flip over Lordly Load in this case to grab. In this case, we could do another copy of Primite Dragon Ether Burl if we're really feeling it. Aside from that, we can just grab, I guess, the Drillbeam and set that, pitch Ether Burl. And Ether Burl will always be able to have one in hand to pretty much pitch for wishes for Eyes of Blue now. So that's kind of disgusting-ish, right? We can pitch this one. It'll come back to hand next turn because we'll probably have a Blue Eyes or something. So this just requires you to have it on your field or graveyard, right? So if we have a Blue Eyes in the graveyard, which we probably will next turn, or on field, which we could because of Primite Lordly Load, then yeah, you have this stuff, I guess. So I believe the combo here with this hand is to link off the Ether Burl afterwards, normal summon Sage with Eyes of Blue, and then you grab Maiden, and I think we can grab either Majesty or Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons here, but I think it doesn't really matter because we can set off of True Light because we already resolve wishes in this hand. So we can just grab, I guess, the copy of Roar first, and then Majesty set with True Light, which we can do later, and then we simply will have, I guess, Primite Drillbeam, which is 1 interaction, Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon, which negates the card effect that activates in the graveyard, so that's like 2, and then this can go into Blue-Eye's Ultimate Spirit Dragon. So that is kind of an Omni negate, so that is 3 very high quality negates in general, and then you have the Max E, which isn't that relevant here, honestly, I don't think. I mean, it for sure will do something, but not really that big of a deal. And of course, Ether Burl, you could also potentially make this into a Seals as well, if that's what you're looking to do. I think if we do Seals, that adds just 1 additional interruption here. So it's like 5-6 interactions, but the end board isn't the important part here. It's just simply, for the most part, I mean, not with this hand necessarily because we have doubles, but in a lot of hands you just have, well, not this hand either. Somehow we didn't open a single tuner. Can we open a tuner? Closer. This is a little bit better, but yeah. If we're trying to open, I guess, a tuner here. We'd be doing better like this, but yeah. With how this deck works, you have essentially like 3 little different engines that you just have to contend with, and by themselves, well, it's not, well, how would I put this? The floor on this deck is just really good. The ceiling is kind of like mid, right? But you can't really stop the combo with your hand traps. And board breaking is a little bit rough because I'm a drill beam. But yeah. If we were to do, I guess, something with this hand, it would be like normal summon Ether Burl first. And then you would try to, well, if you were to imperm or ash this, we can still just link this off and then spray it with Eyes of Blue. We'll be able to grab a card. So I think Droll looks like it'd be pretty decent against this deck. If you don't have Droll, I don't think we're having a good time. And there's no called by in this list, I'm just noticing, because I guess this guy doesn't really care about Maxi or the Charmy cards that much. I would have to check what location we summon from here, but yeah, maybe it's not even that big of a deal for this list, but if we have, you know, like, Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, that's like 2 negates, so if we just normal summon Sage with Eyes of Blue by itself, this grabs like a lot of different things, so I believe this ends on just Blue Eye Spirit Dragon plus Majesty of the White Dragon, so this is like 3 interactions, and if you throw a hand trap basically on any part of this combo, you don't stop anything, it just like lowers the ceiling a little bit, and the combo like will always somewhat go through. So like at worst, let's say maybe you would gamma this, I guess, you can still kind of combo off here. So let's assume we gamma the Ether Burl. We can go Wishes to pitch, I guess here we might pitch Ash Blossom, and then grab Maiden plus Roar. Then we can go ahead and activate Roar and grab True Light while we're at it. So then we can go Maiden Effect, and then special summon itself back, link off the Maiden to then allow us to normal summon Sage with Eyes of Blue, and then we can make Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, I think, or we can make Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but like 2 of them. So we have those 2 options, and that's through straight up a gamma on the normal summon, right? If you were to also negate the Wishes for Eyes of Blue, there's no extension here, I think, because we use the normal summon on Ether Burl. But if you were to, of course, like imperm or ash this instead, then we can just make Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and then we can normal summon Sage with Eyes of Blue off of the effect of the Mausoleum. But then if you were to, I guess, also negate Spirit with Eyes of Blue, then we can resolve Wishes here, right? And this will end on at least the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. And that might not seem like much, right? Just the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon and then maybe a hand trap, but that is going to be essentially 3 interactions. And also, there's follow-up with the True Light that I'm assuming you have, and also the Ether Burl will come back, so you have a normal summon for next turn, guaranteed. And True Light could technically also set Wishes for Eyes of Blue, which searches you more combo stuff next turn. But overall, now, if we considered how many hand traps we actually dropped on that, that would be 2. So that means next turn we would have 4 cards in hand. So our opponent here in this case would have an interaction for essentially every card in your hand. And it's pretty consistent, just in general, because of all the starters you have, but also you have a lot of like kind of bricks. So we have Blue Eyes White Dragon, that's a brick. We have True Light, that's a brick. Majesty of the White Dragons, that's also a brick. So we're looking at least like for this list in particular, that's like 4 minimum, but also like Primite Drillbeam, that's also kind of a brick because that's the worst Primite card. You would much rather search this than ever opening it. So that's also a brick. So we're at 5 bricks. So that's a pretty hefty amount of bricks here. So that means as well, there is about the same odds of, well, it's almost the same odds. So if you look at the amount of starters we have kind of here, right, with the sages and the maidens, you have similar odds of opening these as you do opening any given brick, which kind of sucks. And I mean, worst case scenario, we're looking at a hand with like hand traps and then like random bricks here, like Majesty, Blue Eyes White Dragon, True Light. That is like the ceiling for bad hands, I guess, is pretty high, but I mean, you shouldn't see it that often, I guess. Like, I was seeing it earlier a lot, but yeah. This hand's like fairly combo, can tank some hand traps, and a lot of these hands should be able to go second as well because there's a decent amount of hand traps as well. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that 16 hand traps we have here? Yeah, 16 trade rule, and if you want to actually increase, I think you could, right? I think you could increase the amount of starters a little bit if you really want to. I'm pretty sure there was some card that allows you to kind of increase the consistency for your engine a little bit for Blue Eyes, but probably not optimal right now. But yeah, we have solid ways to deal with back row. We have fairly solid going second ability regardless, right? So if we're into back row, we have the Primite stuff to carry us. If we have, if we're going first, we can set up a somewhat decent end board with the Blue Eye stuff. Grabbing you like all these guys, and all these guys like float and add follow-up as well. And it's pretty free. I guess actually Mausoleum is kind of also a brick. Kind of forgot about that one because you want to search it off of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. But yeah. Deck, as long as you don't draw the bricks, it's pretty damn good, you know? It's just like not drawing the Red Eyes Fusion. Same kind of idea, I guess. A lot of hands are just going to be like hella combo. And it's going to be fairly hard to deal with. And if we had wishes, we can actually pitch True Light and Mausoleum because you're allowed to add from Graveyard as well with these cards. So like Maiden of White also allows you to set from Graveyard. So even if your True Light gets popped, you still have like the ability to grab the True Light again, and then your opponent would have to out it a second time. Same deal with Mausoleum, being able to be searched with Spirit with Eyes of Blue. So yeah. Blue Eyes, this is kind of just very popular right now, and I mean, I'm not sure if this deck, I mean, I'm pretty certain this deck is definitely not the best deck. Like, you could be playing as of currently with a card pool, but yeah, I wouldn't know what that deck is either. So, Blue Eyes still a pretty good option regardless, and yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.